Welcome back to Penguin Modern Journey Through the Box, episode 10. My name is Daniela, and this is a series where I read every single book from the Penguin Modern collection, and I just talk to you about it. And this is episode 10, and it's also the last episode. Well, there will be more, but I'm going through the last books. That's what I'm trying to say. Every episode it's 5 books, so this time it will be from books 46 to 50, and this will be the end. I will have videos talking about the best books in the series and possibly the worst. I'm still not sure about the worst, but I'm 100% doing the best ones, so there will be at least one more episode in this series. So let's just get started and talk about the last 5 books. Yes, so let's go. Also, I want to mention that I do have a reading journal that I glance at from time to time, just to remember everything I thought about. So let's get into it. The first book I'm going to talk about is book 46. This is The Garden of Forking Paths by Jorge Borges. And on the back it says, fantastical tales of mazes, puzzles, lost labyrinths, and bookish mysteries from the unique imagination of a literary magician. This was translated by 3 people, and this was translated by Donald E. Yates, Andrew Harley, and James E. Irby. I'm not certain. I did not like this book. I did not enjoy this book. This book has 5 different stories: The Garden of Forking Paths, The Book of Sand, The Circular Ruins, On Exactitude in Science, and Death and the Compass. And I just didn't understand them. I feel like this whole book was trying to be very psychological and mysterious and all of that, and it just went right over my head. I didn't understand anything. I just what did I write in my reading journal? That I kept trying to wrap my head around the stories, but to no use. So yeah, the only story I can actually remember from this, because I had such a hard time reading them because they were so goddamn boring. The only one I remember is The Circular Ruins. It's basically the story about this man who suddenly wakes up in some ruins one day, and he's like told to create another man, like just dream of it and it will create it somewhere else. And like that one, he's supposed to serve some kind of god, and because of that, because he's not a real human, the fire won't harm him. And it just, my explanation makes no sense because the story in itself made no sense to me. So I don't know how to explain it because I did not understand it. There was also another story in this book, don't remember the title, but it's about this person who buys a book from this merchant, and this book has no end. Like whenever he scrolls through the book, he always arrives at a different page. Some of them he can never go back to the same page because the book has like an infinite number of pages, and at some point he just becomes scared of this book or scared of having it being stolen, or he becomes obsessed with it, something like that, that he just hides it in a cellar, or like I think the title was The Book of Sand. The only quote I liked from this was, I considered fired, but I feared that the burning of an infinite book might be similarly infinite and suffocate the planet in smoke. I thought that was pretty good, but in the end I just didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Oh, I don't think he hid it in a cellar. I think he put it in a library where he put it on library shelves so he wouldn't be able to like go back to check it or something, like in the National Library. But I keep rambling, but I did not understand this book. I didn't like it. I gave it 1.25 out of 5 stars. It just wasn't for me. So this is the first book. I mean, book 46. This is The Garden of Forking Paths by Jorge Borges. So yeah, Second book I want to talk to you about is book 47. This is Fame by Andy Warhol. And on the back this says the legendary pop artist Andy Warhol's hilarious gossipy vignettes and aphorisms on the topics of love, fame, and beauty. So this book is separated into 3 different chapters: love, beauty, and fame. And it's just, I really like this book. It's the way he interprets these 3 motifs across just people's life. So like in beauty, I'll read you what I wrote down. In love, he goes to say that it's mostly people's fantasy that give them problems. In beauty, he talks about trends and sex. In fame, he talks about the categories of fame and how one should always have a product that's not just them. I thought this book was so relevant, especially in today's just internet addiction culture. It just, everything he talked about, you could easily see today. Easily. Like the problems people make for themselves for love, or just trying to make this perfect person in your mind, and then you actually start dating them and they're the complete opposite, so you're fully disappointed. In beauty, he talks about how he could never meet a person he couldn't call beautiful, but everyone was at the same time thought that they're nowhere near beautiful because there's always a standard. And at some point he even says like, there you go. He says, you have to hang on in periods when your style is unpopular, because if it's good, it will come back and you'll be a recognized beauty once again. And I thought that was so eerily similar to the way that trends go so fast, but so fast nowadays, and how fashion is so circular that whatever you wear, at some point you will be the beauty standard, because it will just keep repeating and recycling. And just, I thought he made such a valid point. And then in Fame, he kept saying how there's these different categories of famous people, and that he believes that the people who have the best fame are those who have their names on stores. The people with very big stores named after them are the ones I'm really jealous of. He says that being famous isn't that important. Like, it's a good, like, it's fun and all that, but again, he says there are categories, so they're like sports stars or TV show stars, and being famous to one category doesn't mean you're famous to all of them. You can still be famous and have a majority of people not know you. And again, so relevant to today's current just market, I guess. But I really like this book. I was surprised how current it felt, and I genuinely really liked it. So this was Fame by Andy Warhol. I gave this a 4.25 stars. Now to go to book 3, that is book 48. This is The Survivor by Primo Levi. And this says, from the writer who bore witness to the 20th century darkest days, these verses of beauty and horror include the poem that inspired the title of his memoir, If This Is a Man. Now this, let me check, is translated by Jonathan Galassi, and this is a series of poems, and like all poems, especially the ones that are translated, I hated it. I did not like it. There's just something about books of poems that I cannot deal with, or I just don't understand, or I don't resonate with. If they're translated, I have such a harder time. Like, there wasn't one poem in this whole book that I liked. Not even like a section of a poem. There was nothing. I didn't like anything about this book. But that's just me with poems. I don't even know what to tell you about it, because they're poems, you know. A lot of them, especially the poems in penguinmodern, it's just a bunch of words put together. I'm a sucker for poems with rhymes. I love those. Like, I feel like those should be the norm, but they're not. And that's fine, because some of them are good, but none of the ones I read are. So I'm just so disappointed. I gave this a 1.5 out of 5 stars. Again, this is The Survivor by Primo Levi. Now let's go to book number 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. How is this possible? 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, okay. I was like, what? Okay, book number 4. This is Lens by Vladimir Nabokov. And this says on the back, these 3 dazzling stories of obsession, mania, and an extraterrestrial nightmare feature all the wit, dexterity, and inventiveness that are the hallmarks of Nabokov's genius. Now, I saw that it's written by Nabokov, and I had such high hopes because I read Lolita and I loved that book, not for the plot. The plot was terrifying, psychological horror right there, but the narration of the author, the way he twists your little mind to agree with the main characters, just narcissistic, like just awfulness, brilliant, fantastic. So I had such high expectations from this book, such high expectations, and they were all just thrown away. I did not like it. This is a series of 3 short stories. It has The Aurelian, Signs and Symbols, and Lens. And I just didn't like it. I didn't understand any of them. I gave this a 1.75 stars, and the only reason I did that is because I did not expect the plot twist of the first story. I was like, wait, what? But otherwise, it was just bad. The first story is basically about this man who has this antiquity store, but he mostly sells like dead bugs or like animal. They're dead. They're just like, you know, those like butterflies you put in your old walls and stuff like that. He basically sells those to collectors. He doesn't do well with money, and he really wants to go on like an exploration trip, if you will. And one day he finally saved up enough money to buy himself the ticket to go to, I don't remember where, Spain or Portugal, don't remember. But he buys his ticket, and then the end was so unexpected, I was shocked. Like, the main character, I did not like him. The story was so boring, especially in the beginning. But then you keep reading and it's fine. But I was like, the end surprised me so much. So definitely read it if you will. I'm not going to spoil it. Then in the second story, Signs and Symbols, what is it? Oh, the second story is about this couple that are like parents, and they have a child in a mental institution, I believe, because he keeps attempting to end his life, and it's his birthday, so they visit him. They try to visit him, but the nurse is like, no, he's not very stable right now, come another time. And when they go back, it's like, it's raining and very dreary, and at the end, I didn't understand the end to explain it. I just didn't. Like, nothing happened. There's just them deciding, you know what, we're going to take him back home. Like, tomorrow, we're going to take him back home, or something like that. And it's just like, okay, like what? And there was this phone that kept ringing, and they kept saying is the incorrect number, and I kept thinking, am I supposed to like connect some dots? Because I don't see dots. The page is blank. What dots am I to connect? But there was nothing, so I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. And Lens, the third one, is just I couldn't even tell you what it's about. I read every single word on these pages. I could not tell you what it's about. It's like this something about planets, and then this guy that goes far away, and then his parents that for some reason are called Chin and Chilla, which is like chinchilla, like the animal. Don't know what I was supposed to take from that. But the only thing that I underlined in this story is that What I am thinking of is the man of imagination and science, whose courage is infinite because his curiosity surpasses his courage. I really like that, but other than that, I just hated the story. So yeah, this is Lens by Vladimir Nabokov. I find it so ironic that usually the titles that are on the covers of the Penguin Modern are the ones I like the least out of the entire book. So that's the case for almost all of the books in this collection, which is just so ironic, but okay. And the last book I'm going to talk about is book number 50, Why I Am Not Going to Buy a Computer by Wendell Berry. This says on the back, the great American poet, novelist, and farmer argues for a life lived slowly and the value of home. I don't think this was translated, no. This was so good. I'm so glad. I gave this a 5 stars. I'm so happy that I ended the collection with a bang because I loved it. This is made out of 2 short stories. The first one is Why I'm Not Going to Buy a Computer, and the second is Feminism, the Body and the Machine. In the first one, I think it's this article he writes or maybe just publishes in a newspaper about why he doesn't want to buy a computer. Now this was like in 1980 something, like was first published in Harper's Magazine in 1987. So it's been a while, you know, computers was still very new back then, like especially individual ones you'd have at home. But he kept saying that as a writer, he likes writing with a pencil or a pen on paper, and then he gives this to his wife who transcribes it on his typewriter, and this way she also acts like his editor. So it's not just him writing it, it goes through another process of his wife looking at the piece and just suggesting him changes and all of that. And why he doesn't want to buy a computer, because he thinks when you put words on a paper with a pen or pencils, even if you delete them, even if you just take them out, it's not like on a computer. There's still physical evidence of you doing changes. With a computer, once you write it and you delete the words, they're forever gone. Like there's no visual process, and he doesn't want that. Also, he says that people say that by buying a computer, people write a lot faster and better, and he argues that that's not true because it's just not. He says such intelligent words, I can't remember. And after that, like that's just like the first part, and then the middle part of that story is like 4 or 5 just comments from the newspaper about people just mocking him for not wanting to use a computer, because they're like, you say about the rape of nature, but you're still like using electricity, and someone else is like, well, why are you making your wife work? Where's the feminism in that? Or is she getting paid? Or like, are you relying on cheap labor? Or is everyone supposed to have a wife to do their editing work? Or it's just a lot of just comments against it. And the second, like the last part of the story is him arguing against them, like giving points of what he tried to say, like what he was saying, and just rebuking the comments, if you will. And then the second story, Feminism, the Body and the Nature, it takes from the first story and just expands on it, like the way the people commented on his wife's situation, I guess, without knowing everything. So the second one is very, very focused on the idea of feminism, how he like points out how everyone argued that his wife is acting kind of like a slave, you know, and he goes like, I just told you that my wife helps me with typing the the manuscript into with the typewriter so it can be sent off, and acts as an editor. And he said that the people extrapolated from that whatever they wanted without having the actual information. He's like, my wife is not obligated to do so, but she both enjoys it, and as a married couple, it doesn't, the money from his manuscript don't just go to him, it goes to like the household, if you will. I don't know if I really hope I'm saying it, like explaining it right, because I feel like I'm babbling. But he goes to say that if people, like if his wife was to work as an editor at a company and goes there from like 8 to 5 and get money from it, they would be okay with it. But if she does that at home, it's not feminist all of the sudden. And like, why do people have all these expectations without knowing all the details? And then he again goes to talk a little into the what is that? He talks some more about the comments from the last article, if you will. And there's also like, he talks about technological progress, and there's a part I really liked, and he says, we cannot think about the future, of course, for the future does not exist. The existence of the future is an article of faith. We can be assured only that if there is to be a future, the good of it is already implicit in the good things of the present. We do not need to plan or devise a world of future. If we take care of the world of the present, the future will have received full justice from us. And I was like, wow. I just love this book so much. I personally think the arguments he made were brilliant, and reading it as someone from the future where computers just took over and you can't really do anything without one, I was just like, he's so right. He's so right. And I was just like, it's insane. But I really, really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Again, this is the last book of the series. Just congratulating myself for reading 50 books. So yeah, these are the last 5 books. It's insane, just insane that I managed to finish them. Just, I am in disbelief, in shock, absolute madness. So yeah, these are the last 5 books. Let me put them back orderly if possible. So here we go. This is the Penguin Modern box set. I can't believe I finished it. I read every single book from this series. If you're interested in what I have to say about all the other books, please check out my videos. I have an entire playlist talking about it. Again, I'm going to also make a video about the best books from this series. I'm still not sure about the worst books. Let me know if you'd like to see that. I'm so excited that I finished it and I filmed the process, because now every time I want to remember a book, I both have my reading journal, but also I can just look at these videos, and they're just so amazing. Even though in some of them I just babble, but you know, it still counts. So yeah, this is the end of this, kind of, not really, but the end of me actually reading them. I will still talk about them. I do have the Penguin Little Black Classic collection that I'm going to read next. So I still haven't thought of a title. If you have any ideas, please let me know below. Something like catchy, like Journey Through the Box, you know? I would love that. And let me know if you read any of these books, which ones are your favorite, which ones did you hate the most. And please consider giving this a like and subscribing, because I do have more of this kind of content prepared in the future. So I will see you then. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.
I just give the earth my soul. Hear my thoughts bounce off the walls.